Hello there and welcome. If you're here, you're likely involved in a community foundation or affiliate fund of Southern Minnesota Initiative Foundation, and you're looking to strengthen your board. And maybe you found yourself asking, how do we find the right people? How do we keep them engaged? And how do we make this feel exciting, not just like one more obligation? Well, you're in the right place. I'm Christy Ackley, and I'm looking forward to having this conversation with you. All right, in this training, we're going to walk through some practical steps, share some small town tested tips, and provide some examples that you can use right away. We'll cover how to prepare, where to look, how to ask, and then how to onboard and retain those strong board members who bring energy, ideas, and commitment to your mission. We know that in small towns, especially, a strong board means a strong community. So let's dive in. So let's start with why this matters so much. Recruiting board members isn't just about filling empty seats or meeting a quota. It's about building a team that shares your values, understands your mission, and helps carry the vision forward, not just for today, but for the next generation. As Peter Drucker said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. What that means is you can have all the plans in the world, but if the people around the table aren't engaged or aligned, it's not going to go anywhere. And on the flip side, when you've got the right people, you will be amazed at what's possible. Before you start reaching out to anyone, though, there's one thing that we recommend every group does: pause, prepare, and reflect. If you skip this step, recruitment often flops later. So start by getting clear on your identity. What's your mission? What's your vision? What are your values? If you haven't done that already, that is a crucial step before you can start recruiting. Why does your community foundation exist? What are you trying to accomplish in your community? Then take a look at your current board. What strengths are already there? What's missing? We like to say a missing ingredient makes a bad pie. So use a board matrix to assess gaps in skills, demographics, and connections. If you've never seen a board matrix before, ask your team at Smith and they can help you with that. Finally, clarify what you're actually asking new members to do. Is it fundraising, event planning, community outreach? Will they be expected to attend monthly meetings, join a committee, donate? When you know what you're looking for, you'll be much more confident and your ask will feel more authentic and respectful. Once you've done that prep work, the next step is who should you be asking? And here's where small towns shine. Chances are you already know people or you know someone who knows someone. We love to use a technique called social mapping. Think about who's already engaged in your schools, in your churches, in your businesses, and service clubs. Who do people turn to for help or advice? Who's the person everyone knows at the local coffee shop? Start with connectors, barbershop talkers, local leaders, emerging voices. And don't forget about youth, retirees, medical professionals, and others who may be underrepresented. Here's a simple question you can ask in conversations. Who do you know who's passionate about? And then fill in the blank with education, youth, local food, parks, small businesses, whatever it is that fits your mission. Now comes the part that makes a lot of people nervous, the ask. Often you start to say no for the person before you even ask them, right? You start to tell yourself they're too busy, they've got so much on their plate already, whatever the things are. Don't say no for somebody else. Let them do that, right? The ask does not have to be scary. Start with a personal invitation, ideally a phone call or a face-to-face conversation. Email can come later. And then be real. Just say something like, we thought of you because you're passionate about the future of this town, and we see you as someone who could help shape that future. Who wouldn't love to hear somebody say that about them, right? Then make sure that you set clear expectations around the timing, whether you want them to be giving, participation, and then give them space. Let them consider, don't rush it. Here's one of our favorite lines to use. You don't need to be a fundraising expert or a financial guru. We're looking for people who care deeply about this community. That has opened a lot of doors. I want to go back to the don't rush it. Make sure that you really don't rush it and that you do give them space. The last thing you need is somebody that feels pressured into saying yes. Because what happens when people say yes, when they don't really mean the yes, is they might join, but then they start to hide. And you're going to be really frustrated by the people who said yes, but then they don't show up to meetings. They don't follow through with the things that they, are asked to do. And it's all because they said yes to something that they didn't really mean in the first place. We're a very polite community region here in the Midwest, and we hate to tell people no, especially when the pressure is put on. So this is one of those times where you really want to make sure that you're giving them the space to really think about it and to jump in if this means a lot to them. Once they do say yes, congrats. But don't stop there. This happens so often. We say yes and we get them on the board, and then we don't actually train them on how to be on the board. First impressions really matter. So use an orientation that can help spark their purpose and help them to see what your mission is really all about. Your onboarding should include a mission overview, a copy of your board calendar, clear expectations, and how to engage. And then contact info for someone they can go to with questions, whether that's the board chair or you set them up with a mentor. Here's a bonus tip. Ask a current board member to share why they joined and what they love about it. Stories are kind of sticky, and they're a great way to build early connection because people remember those. The final step is keeping them, right? You want to grow them, you want to inspire them. We've all seen boards where the people burn out or they check out. And some of those happen because they weren't recruited very well. And then some of it happens because once they get on board, nothing's happening or the culture is really toxic. So make sure to have a few simple habits that you can build a culture that lasts. So make sure that the board service feels meaningful, not just like a check in the box. Recognize contributions often, publicly and privately, and match people's passions to projects. If somebody really loves to do events, then make sure that they're on the event planning committee and don't put them on the grant making committee. People who want to see the impact of what you're doing, put them on the grant committee and don't ask them to go out and, pick colors for the tablecloths at the events. Match their passions to their projects and create space for leadership pathways. Can this person be a future chair or a committee lead? Engagement equals retention. When board members feel seen, supported, and successful, they stick around. So let's recap. Prepare. Before you start recruiting, make sure your preparation is done. Then ask personally. Those one-to-one conversations are so incredibly important. And then support their ongoing engagement. Make sure that the culture of your board is one that supports growth, engagement, and connection. Because remember, you're not just building a board, you're building a legacy for your community. And that starts with finding the right people and setting them up to succeed. All right, thanks for watching this, and thanks for building the strong, connected, and vibrant communities that you're so invested in.